What does Rideau Hall's fence and Little Italy signs have in common?
They were all made in Canada's oldest operating foundry. Located along the Rideau Canal in Merrickville, Ontario,
Alloy Foundry has been making metal castings since before Confederation.
Linda Fage was fascinated by the cast metal signs she saw in England, which inspired her to make similar signs at her foundry.
And they're made the same way, and a lot of people will have seen them. So little plaques with flowers on them and a date or a time or a number of your house or that kind of thing. So people kind of recognize them when they come in and they say, oh, this is where they're made.
She and her husband bought the foundry over 20 years ago and continue to preserve the legacy to this day.
The foundry was definitely important for the development of Merrickville because they cast a lot of the pieces that allowed other businesses to run. They employed at their height about 65 people, so it was quite a large business. They supplied agricultural implements for all over Ontario, really.
The foundry still makes industrial parts, but the artistry of the craft is now at the forefront of what they do.
Well, one of the things that we do is we make directional arrows, and they're seen all over the place. Particularly, a lot of people have noticed the Little Italy ones because they're white, and there are many of them.
There are lots of steps involved in making these one-of-a-kind pieces.
So what I'm doing here is I'm making some what we call emblems for the signs. There are many, many different flowers and birds and trees and dogs and horses and tractors even, and people have all kinds of things that they really want to have on their sign. Our most popular are the leaves, and we have them in all different sizes and we paint them up and they look beautiful.
Once Linda prepares the template, Devin Scott uses it to make a sand casting.
Being able to take something that is shaped like one thing and then transforming it into something that's artistic and beautiful, I think is definitely rewarding.
Just like with sand castles, moist sand is needed to form that perfect shape.
In this part of the foundry, metal is melted and then poured into molds to make new shapes. Come check it out.
Most foundries work with one type of metal, but this foundry works with three: iron, bronze, and aluminum. Aluminum is poured at temperatures of between 1250 and 1450 degrees Fahrenheit. Iron and bronze are poured at even higher temperatures.
There are certain things too that you can only make with an old-fashioned foundry like this. The big ones are not set up to do work, one-of-a-kind work or five-of-a-kind. You know, they're set up to do thousands of widgets, that kind of thing. So I think there will always be artists who would like to experiment with it. Every plaque is a work of art.
I think it's amazing how the foundry's adapted to economic change really, really well. And the stuff that they're doing now, the artistic stuff, and it's just incredible.
This takes 110 hours of painting. There's so much shading, and it's really quite beautifully done. It's all done right here in the foundry. We tell people our signs will last forever, and I really mean that. When people, their eyes kind of go wide at the idea that, what, you can actually make something that lasts forever? Yes. I tell people we've been doing for over 20 years, and every day is different, and you have an opportunity to do a whole bunch of different things. It's never boring here, ever. Sometimes we kind of wish it would be a little bit. We could slow down. Sometimes it's wild. But foundries, I think, will always be around. There'll always be a need. There will always be people wanting to get things done this way.